Giles Montessori in school.
Dear students, let's learn all poems of English grade 9 for Federal Board Exam 2025 onwards from 1. National Book Foundation and 2. Cantab Publisher Books with help of Artificial Intelligence. This is a combined course. Unit 7, Poem, Mowing by Robert Frost. From National Book Foundation, English Grade 9 book, for Federal Board Exam, from 2025 onwards.
English for Grade 9, Unit 7, Understanding Difficult Words along with explanation of poem in Urdu and English from National Book Foundation recommended book. Whispering, Sargoshi Karna, speaking softly. Scythe, Daranti, a curved tool for cutting grass. Perhaps, Shayad, maybe. Idle, sust, inactive or lazy. Fae, Pari, a fairy or magical being. Elf, Bona, a small, magical creature. Seemed, lagta tha, appeared to be. Earnest, Sanjida, serious and sincere. Swale, Nashebi Zameen, a low-lying land area. Feeble, Kamzor, weak. Pointed, Nokila, having a sharp tip. Spikes, Nokdar cheezein, sharp, pointed objects. Pale, Madam, light in color. Orchises, ek kisham ke jangli fool, a type of wildflower. Scared, Khofzada, afraid or frightened. Bright, Chamakdar, shining or vivid. Fact, Hakikat, a true statement. Dream, Khwab, a vision during sleep or a hope. Hay, Ghaz, dried grass for animals. Laid, Bichaya, placed or positioned. Mowing, grass cutting.
Unit 7, Mowing by Robert Frost, meaning by difficult parts of stanzas. And that was my long scythe whispering to the ground. और वो मेरी डारंटी की जमीन पार सरगोशी थी, it was the whispering of my scythe on the ground. Perhaps it was something about the heat of the sun, शायद यह सूरज की गर्मी के बारे में था, maybe it spoke of the sun's warmth. It was no dream of the gift of idle hours, यह फरिग वक्त का कोई ख्वाब ना था, it was not a dream of wasted time. Easy gold at the hand of fae or elf, ना ही किसी परी या जिनके हाथों आसान दौलत का, nor was it easy gold from fairies or elves. My long scythe whispered and left the hay to make. मेरी लंबी डारंटी सरगोशी काटी रही और GHAAS को काटती रही. My long scythe whispered and continued making hay.
Explanation of poem, Mowing by Robert Frost in English. Stanzas 1-2. The poem starts by describing a quiet place where the only sound is the speaker's scythe, a tool for cutting grass, moving through the field. The speaker wonders what the scythe is, whispering, as it works. Maybe it is talking about the hot sun or the peaceful silence. The speaker realizes that the scythe only whispers, it doesn't need to speak. Stanzas 3-4. The poet explains that mowing is not about daydreaming or getting easy rewards, like gold from fairies. Instead, hard work is valuable on its own. The truth of labor is more important than fantasy or laziness. Stanzas 5-6. The speaker appreciates the effort of mowing, noticing how the scythe carefully moves through the field, cutting flowers and even scaring a snake. In the end, the speaker believes that working hard is the best kind of reward. The scythe whispers as it finishes its job, leaving the cut grass behind. Short summary. Robert Frost's poem Mowing highlights the value of hard work and the simple beauty of labor. The speaker hears his scythe whispering as it cuts the grass and wonders about its meaning. He rejects dreamy ideas of magic or easy rewards, instead appreciating the honest effort of mowing. The poem suggests that true satisfaction comes from working with dedication and being connected to nature. Let's discuss critical thinking questions and answers. Q1. Who is making a whispering sound on the ground? The poet describes the scythe as whispering to the ground. This is a poetic way of expressing the gentle, rhythmic movement of the tool as it cuts the grass. Q2. What message does the whispering of the scythe convey in the poem? The whispering of the scythe represents the poet's deep connection with nature and hard work. It does not speak of idle dreams or magical rewards but instead symbolizes the quiet satisfaction and truth found in labor. Q3. What poetic devices are used in the poem? The poem uses several poetic devices. Personification. This is when something non-human is given human qualities. In the poem, the scythe, a farming tool, is described as whispering, as if it can talk. This makes the poem more engaging and brings the scene to life. In the poem, the scythe is given human qualities by being described as whispering, making the tool feel alive. Second poetic device used is imagery. The poet uses detailed descriptions to create mental pictures for the reader. For example, phrases like pale orchises, a type of flower, and bright green snake help us imagine the scene clearly and feel like we are there. The poet uses vivid descriptions such as pale orchises and bright green snake to create strong mental pictures. Third poetic device used is alliteration. This is the repetition of the same consonant sounds in nearby words. In the phrase, scythe whispered, the S sound is repeated, creating a soft and rhythmic effect that matches the quiet movement of the scythe. The repetition of consonant sounds, like in scythe whispered, creates a musical effect that enhances the poem's rhythm. Fourth device used is metaphor. A metaphor is a comparison without using, like, or, as. In the poem, the sweetest dream that labor knows suggests that hard work is as satisfying as a dream, showing that real happiness comes from effort and dedication. The phrase, the sweetest dream that labor knows, compares hard work to a dream, showing the deep fulfillment that comes from effort. These devices make the poem more expressive and meaningful. Q4. What does the poet mean by the sweetest dream that labor knows? The poet suggests that the greatest joy or sweetest dream comes from honest hard work, not from magical rewards or fantasies. The satisfaction of seeing the results of one's effort is more fulfilling than idle dreaming. Q5. What is the main theme of the poem? The central idea of the poem is the dignity and satisfaction of hard work. The poet emphasizes that real happiness comes from dedication and effort, rather than from easy wealth or magical rewards. Q6. What is the structure and mood of the poem? The poem follows a simple, natural flow, reflecting the steady rhythm of labor. The tone is calm, reflective, and appreciative of hard work. It conveys a sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from honest effort. Explanation of poem, Mowing by Robert Frost in Urdu.
रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट की नज़म कटाई की वजाहत। रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट की नज़म मूविंग मेहनत, फितरत और सच्चाई के मौज़ूआत को उजागर करती है। ये नज़म एक सादा मगर गहरा लम्हा बयान करती है, जहाँ शायर खेत में घास काट रहा है और सिर्फ अपनी दरांती की सरगोशी की आवाज़ सुनता है। ये सरगोशी सिर्फ एक मामूली आवाज़ नहीं बल्कि मेहनत और फितरत की खामोश हिकमत अमली की अलामत भी है। शायर को मालूम नहीं कि ये दरांती क्या कह रही है, लेकिन वो अंदाज़ा लगाता है कि शायद ये सूरज की तपश या इर्द गिर्द की खामोशी के बारे में बात कर रही है। वो ख्याली ख्वाबों या जादुई इनामात की उम्मीद नहीं रखता, बल्कि मेहनत की सच्चाई को तस्लीम करता है। वो कहता है ये कोई आराम के लम्हों का ख्वाब नहीं था और ना ही किसी परी या जादूगर के दिए गए आसान ख़जाने की ख्वाहिश थी। इसका मतलब यह है कि असल खुशी सस्ती या जादुई इनामात में नहीं बल्कि ईमानदारी से की गई मेहनत में है। शायर खेत के कुदरती मनाजर का जिक्र भी करता है, जैसे कि नर्म नोक वाले फूल आर्कड्स और चमकदार सब सांप जो अचानक खौफजदा होकर भाग जाता है। ये तफसीलात फितरत की खूबसूरती और मुश्किलात दोनों को जाहिर करती है। नज़्म का मरकज़ी पैगाम यह है कि मेहनत अपनी जगह के नाम है, आखिरी सतर हकीकत वो मीठा ख्वाब है जो मेहनत जानती है, हमें सिखाती है कि हकीकी तस्कीन और खुशी ख्वाबों या आसान रास्तों में नहीं बल्कि सच्ची मेहनत में है। ये नज़म हमें रोज़मर्रा के कामों में भी खूबसूरती और इत्मीनान तलाश करने का दर्स देती है और बताती है कि असल कामयाबी ईमानदारी से की गई मेहनत में ही पोशीदा है।
Unit 8, Poem, The Eagle by Alfred Tennyson, from National Book Foundation, English Grade 9 book, for Federal Board exam from 2025 onwards.
Giles Montessori and School. Dear students, topics about poem from English for grade 9, Unit 8 of NBF book covered here are difficult words and meanings, explanation of the poem stanza-wise, answers to post-reading questions, answers to critical thinking questions, explanation in Urdu. Unit 8. Difficult words with meanings. Clasps, pakrana, to hold tightly. Crag, chattan, a steep or rough rock. Crooked, terha, not straight or bent. Azure, neela asman, bright blue like the sky. Wrinkled, shikanwala, having small folds or lines. Crawls, reengna, to move slowly. Thunderbolt, bijli ka karka, a flash of lightning with thunder. Beneath, niche, under something. Lonely, sunsan, empty or without people. Steep, khada, rising or falling sharply. Majesty, azmat, greatness or dignity. Surrounds, garalina, to be all around something. Perch, baithne ki jagah, a high resting place. Prey, shikar, an animal hunted for food. Dominance, hakmiyat, power or control over others. Stanza 1. 3 lines in the first stanza. The poet describes the eagle sitting on a high rock. He holds on to the crag, steep rock, with his sharp, strong claws. Stanza 1. 3 lines. In the first stanza, the poet describes the eagle sitting on a high rock. He holds on to the crag, steep rock, with his sharp, strong claws. The eagle is very close to the sun, showing that he is at a great height. The phrase azure world refers to the blue sky that surrounds him, emphasizing his dominance and majesty. Stanza 2. 3 lines. The second stanza describes the world below the eagle. The sea appears to be wrinkled, meaning it moves slowly far beneath him. He watches everything from his high mountain perch, waiting for the right moment. This poem portrays the eagle as a symbol of strength, freedom, and majesty. Let me know if you need more details. This poem portrays the eagle as a symbol of strength, freedom, and majesty. What images or emotions come to mind when you read the words crag, sun, sea, and thunderbolt? The word crag brings the image of a high, rough rock. Sun gives a feeling of brightness, power, and warmth. Sea reminds us of vastness, movement, and depth. Thunderbolt creates a sense of suddenness, speed, and power. Question: how do you interpret the relationship between the subject and the elements of nature in this poem? Answer: the eagle is shown as powerful and majestic, living high above on a crag. The sea below moves slowly, making the eagle seem even stronger and more dominant. The eagle's final dive is compared to a thunderbolt, showing its speed and force. Question: what emotions did you experience while reading this poem? Answer: the poem creates feelings of admiration for the eagle's strength. There is a sense of loneliness, as the eagle stands alone on a rock. The last line brings a feeling of sudden excitement or fear, as the eagle falls like a thunderbolt. Question: if you are given the chance of revising the poem's current title, what would you choose it to be? Answer: possible new titles: The King of the Sky, The Mighty Fall, or The Thunderbolt Bird. Can you identify any symbolic or metaphorical elements in the poem? Answer. The eagle symbolizes power and dominance over nature. The crag represents isolation, showing the eagle's strength in solitude. The fall like a thunderbolt is a metaphor for sudden and powerful action, symbolizing either an attack or the inevitable fall of great power. Q1. Who or what is the main subject of the poem? Answer. The main subject is an eagle. Q2. What is the significance of the subject's physical attributes, such as crooked hands and being close to the sun? Answer. Crooked hands. This likely refers to the eagle's talons, claws, emphasizing their strength and sharpness, implying experience and age. Crooked also suggests a powerful grip, essential for survival and hunting. Q2. What is the significance of the subject's physical attributes, such as crooked hands and being close to the sun? Answer. Crooked hands. This likely refers to the eagle's talons, emphasizing their strength and sharpness, implying experience and age. Crooked also suggests a powerful grip, essential for survival and hunting. Close to the sun. This symbolizes the eagle's majestic height and freedom, its dominion over its environment. It also suggests a sense of isolation and superiority, as the eagle exists in a realm above the everyday. Q3. How does the poem explore the theme of solitude or loneliness? Answer. The phrases lonely lands and watches from his mountain walls explicitly state the eagle's isolation. Q4. What is the overall tone of the poem, and how does it change throughout the stanzas? Answer. The overall tone is one of powerful majesty and isolation, but with a hint of latent violence. Stanza 1. The tone is stately and descriptive, focusing on the eagle's powerful presence and isolated appearance. Stanza 2. The tone shifts slightly as the eagle is depicted watching the world below. There's a sense of anticipation and observation. The image of the wrinkled sea adds a sense of age and timelessness. Stanza 3. The tone turns abruptly violent and decisive with a simile like a thunderbolt he falls. The pent-up energy and power implied in the first two stanzas are released in this final, swift action. Q5. Which figure of speech is used in he clasps the crag with crooked hands and comment on its effect? Answer. Personification is the primary figure of speech. Hands are typically human attributes, and applying this to the eagle's talents emphasizes their strength and dexterity, making the eagle seem almost human in its deliberate action. It also creates a more vivid and relatable image for the reader. Q6. How does the final line, like a thunderbolt he falls, relate to the preceding lines and the poem's central theme? Answer. The final line provides a dynamic resolution to the stillness and observation described in the previous stanzas. The simile like a thunderbolt he falls connects to the themes of power and majesty by illustrating the eagle's swift and decisive action. It underscores the contained power hinted at throughout the poem, demonstrating the eagle's dominance and predatory nature. The suddenness of the fall emphasizes the eagle's role as a force of nature, disrupting the serenity of the previous descriptions with a burst of raw energy. Essentially, the poem moves from a description of the eagle's static being to a demonstration of its dynamic power.
ये नज़म एक अकाब के बारे में है जो एक ऊंची चट्टान पर बैठा हुआ है। वो अपनी मजबूत और मुड़े हुए पंजों से चट्टान को सख्ती से पकड़े हुए है। वो बहुत ऊंचाई पर सूरज के करीब और एक तन्हा जगह पर मौजूद है। वो नीले आसमान से घिरा हुआ खड़ा है जो उसकी शान और शौकत को जाहिर करता है। नीचे समंदर लहरों की तरह आहिस्ता आहिस्ता हरकत कर रहा है जो दूर से सुकड़ा हुआ और छोटा लगता है। अकाब अपनी पहाड़ी की बुलंदी से नीचे की दुनिया को गौर से देख रहा है। आखिर में वो अचानक बहुत तेज़ी से नीचे झपटता है, जैसे बिजली गिर रही हो। ये नज़म अकाब की अजमत, तन्हाई और उसकी ज़बरदस्त ताकत को जाहिर करती है।
Unit 9, Poem, Travel and Tourism, from National Book Foundation, English Grade 9 book, for Federal Board Exam, from 2025 onwards.
Giles Montessori and School. Contents of the video, from NBF English Grade 9 book, Unit 9. Meanings of difficult words of poem and parts of stanzas as well. Post-reading questions. Reading and critical thinking answers. Meanings by words. Rise, uthna, to move upward. Golden, sunahari, having the color of gold. Anchored, langarandaz, fixed in place like a ship. Cockatoos, cockatoo totai, a type of large parrot. Crusoes, Crusoe, name of Robinson Crusoe. Crusoe is used for a person who is stuck up or is lonely. Robinson Crusoe is a shipwrecked sailor who ends up stranded on a deserted island for many years, facing various challenges and learning to survive in isolation. Mosque, Masjid, a place of worship for Muslims. Minaret, Minar, a tall tower attached to a mosque. Sandy, Reetelai, covered with sand. Great Wall, Azim Diwar, a famous long wall in China. Hum, Gungunana, a continuous low sound. Spire, Minar, a tall pointed structure. Coconuts, Nariyal, large tropical fruit with a hard shell. Negro, Obshi, an outdated term for people of African descent. Huts, Jhompadiyan, small, simple shelters. Naughty, Pechida, full of knots or difficult situations. Crocodile, Magaramach, a large reptile that lives in water. Blinks, Aankh jhapakna, to quickly open and close eyes. Nile, Nile, a famous river in Egypt. Flamingo, Flamingo, a pink-colored bird with long legs. Hunting, Shikar, the act of catching animals for food. Jungle, Jungle, a dense forest with wild animals. Man devouring, Insan khanaye wala, something that eats humans. Lying close, Kareeb laitai, resting near something. Palanquin, Palki, a covered carriage carried by people. Deserted, Viran, abandoned or empty. Caravan, Kafila, a group of travelers with camels. Gloom, Andhera, darkness or sadness. Dusty, Dhul bhara, covered in dust. Festivals, Tewar, celebrations or special events. Sweep, Fakir, a poor or homeless person. Spark, Chamak, a small flash of light. Ancient, Kadim, very old or historical. Meanings by parts of poem stanza. Golden apples grow, sunahari se bukte hain, a reference to mythical or rare fruit. Parrot islands anchored lie, Totten ke jazire langar andaz hain, small islands where parrots live. Cockatoos and goats, cockatoo totai or bakriyan, a type of parrot and farm animals. Lonely Crusoes building boats, Tanha Crusoe kashti bana rahe hain, reference to Robinson Crusoe, a shipwrecked man. Eastern cities, miles about, Mashriqi shahar meilon tak phailaye hue, large cities in the east. Mosque and minaret, masjid or minar, Islamic places of worship and tall towers. Sandy garden set, Reete ab aghat bane hain, gardens in dry, sandy areas. Rich goods from near and far, Karibodo se keemti ashya, expensive items from different places. Hang for sale in the bazaar, bazaar mein फारूख्त ke liye latkaye gaye, displayed for selling in a marketplace. Great Wall round China, Chin ki दीवार के अरन तरफ, the long historic wall in China. On one side the desert blows, एक तरफ सहरा की हवा चलती है, the wind blows over the desert. Bell and voice and drum, घंटी, आवाज और ढोल, sounds of a lively city.
cities on the other hum, दूसरी तरफ शहर गुनगुनाते हैं, cities buzzing with activity. Forests, hot as fire, जंगलाता की तरह गरम, very hot and humid forests. Wide as England, England जीते वसी, as large as the country England. Tall as a spire, मीनार जितना ऊंचा, as high as a church tower. Full of apes and coconuts, बंदरों और नारियल से भरे, filled with monkeys and coconuts. Negro hunters' huts, औपशी शिकारियों की झोंपड़ियां, small homes of African hunters. Naughty crocodile, पेचीदा मगरमच्छ, a rough and scaly crocodile. Lies and blinks in the Nile, दरियाई नाइल में पैरा आंख झपकता है, a crocodile resting and blinking. Red flamingo flies, सुर्ख फ्लेमिंगो परवाज करता है, a pink-colored bird flying. Hunting fish before his eyes, उसकी आंखों के सामने मछलियों का शिकार, flamingo catching fish. Jungles, near and far, जंगलात, करीब और दूर, dense forests spread over distances. Man devouring tigers, इंसान खाने वाले शेर, tigers that attack and eat humans. Lying close and giving ear, करीब लेटे और सुनाई को तैयार, listening attentively while resting. Lest the hunt be drawing near, कहीं शिकार करीब न आ रहा हो, fear that hunters are approaching. Come or by be seen, गुजरने वाला देखा जाए, a passerby is noticed. Swinging in a palanquin, पालकी में झूल रहा है, being carried in a decorated seat. Among the desert sands, सहरा की रात में, within the dry sandy land. Some deserted city stands, कोई वीरान शहर खड़ा है, a city abandoned long ago. All its children, sweep and prince, उसके तमाम बच्चे, फकीर और शहज़ादे, both poor and royal children the city. Grown to manhood ages since, ज़मानों पहले बड़े हो चुके, became adults long ago. Not a foot in street or house, गलिया घर में कोई कदम नहीं, no one left in the city. Not a stir of child or mouse, ना बच्चे की हरकत, ना चूहे की, complete silence in the place. When kindly falls the night, जब रात मेहरबानी से उतरती है, when peaceful night arrives. In all the town no spark of light, पूरे शहर में रोशनी की चमक नहीं, no lights in the abandoned city. I'll come when I'm a man, मैं आऊंगा जब मैं बड़ा होऊंगा, the poets dream of traveling when older. With a camel caravan, ऊँटों के काफिले के साथ, traveling with a group of camels. Light a fire in the gloom, अंधेरे में आग जलाऊंगा, making a fire in darkness. Cockatoos, cockatoo totai, a type of large parrot. Crusoes, Crusoe, name of Robinson Crusoe. Crusoe is used for a person who is stuck up or is lonely. Robinson Crusoe is a shipwrecked sailor who ends up stranded on a deserted island for many years, facing various challenges and learning to survive in isolation. Mosque, Masjid, a place of worship for Muslims. Minaret, Minar, a tall tower attached to a mosque. Sandy, Reetele, covered with sand. Great Wall, Azim Diwar, a famous long wall in China. Toys of the old Egyptian boys, पुराने मिस्री लड़कों के खिलौने, ancient toys left behind. Explanation of poem stanza wise. Stanza 1, lines 1 to 9. Explanation. This stanza talks about the boy's wish to travel. He wants to go to places where special apples grow. He imagines islands with parrots and also thinks of lonely people like Robinson Crusoe building boats. He pictures sunny cities in the east with mosques, places of worship. It's all about faraway, exciting places. Stanza 2, lines 10 to 18. Explanation. Now the boy imagines traveling to places with sandy gardens and markets, bazaars, where they sell nice things. He thinks of seeing the Great Wall of China and the desert nearby. He hears the sound of cities with bells and drums. He also pictures hot, huge forests full of monkeys and coconuts. Stanza 3, lines 19 to 27, explanation. This stanza describes even more exciting and maybe a little scary places. He thinks of huts where hunters live, crocodiles in the Nile River, and pink birds, flamingos, catching fish. He imagines jungles with tigers that might eat people. Stanza 4, lines 28 to 36, explanation. Here, the boy pictures an old, empty city in the desert. Everyone who used to live there, even the children and princes, has grown up and gone away a long time ago. The city is quiet, no people, no animals. At night, it's completely dark. Stanza 5, lines 37 to 44, explanation. Finally, the boy says that he will go to these places when he grows up. He'll travel with a group of camels. He'll make a fire in an old, dusty room, look at the pictures on the walls, and find old toys. This stanza brings the poem back to the boy and his dreams for the future. Short summary about poem travel. A young boy dreams of traveling to many exciting and faraway places. He imagines real locations like China and Egypt, mixed with fantastical elements like lonely islands and jungles full of tigers. He wants to see amazing things, from golden apples and colorful parrots to ancient cities and bustling markets. His dreams are full of adventure and a strong desire to explore the world. The poem captures the wonder and wanderlust of childhood, the longing to escape the ordinary and experience the unknown. Post-reading questions. In this poem, the writer tells about the strong wishes of a young boy who wants to travel to real and made-up places. What are your thoughts about his big dreams? The boy's dreams are truly big, but in a great, imaginative way. He doesn't just want to see real places, he wants to feel the exciting and adventurous parts of those places. He mixes real locations, China, Egypt, the Nile, with things that feel almost like a fairy tale, lonely Crusoes, tigers that eat people, empty cities. His dreams show a strong desire for adventure, a curiosity about the world, and a wish to get away from the normal. It's a beautiful showing of childhood's wish to wander and the strength of imagination. Do you have the same strong desire to travel to faraway places? The poem Travel makes me really want to see the world. Just like the boy in the poem, I feel a strong pull towards faraway places, both real and made up. The clear pictures of exciting locations, from islands with parrots and eastern cities with mosques to the dusty remains of old civilizations, make me really want to see these amazing things myself. The poem's feeling of adventure, the excitement of finding new cultures and lands, and the lovely idea of travel changing a person all make this desire very strong. Just like the boy dreams of joining a camel group and looking around old cities, I also want to go beyond where I know and be part of the many different things that make our world so interesting. The poem reminds me of all the great chances that travel offers. The chance to make my world bigger, and to connect with the many different stories and experiences that make our planet so wonderful. Reading and critical thinking. Q1. How does the poet describe the allure of travel in the first stanza? Answer. The poet makes travel sound exciting by describing faraway places with golden apples, parrot islands, and lonely people building boats. It feels sunny and adventurous. Q2. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? Answer. The rhyme scheme of the poem is ABCB. This means that the second and fourth lines of each stanza rhyme, while the first and third lines do not have a set rhyme. Let's look at the first stanza as an example. I should like to rise and go. A. Where the golden apples grow. B. Where below another sky. C. Parrot islands anchored lie. B. See how grow and lie rhyme. They are the second and fourth lines. Go and sky do not rhyme. This pattern, second and fourth lines rhyming, is repeated in every stanza of the poem. Q3. What are your thoughts about the imagination of an innocent young boy who wants to explore the world? Write a few lines about it. Answer. It's wonderful. The boy has a big imagination and dreams of exciting adventures. He wants to see so many different places. It's great that he's curious about the world and wants to explore. His dreams are fun and show how much he wants to learn and experience new things. Q4. What is the central theme of Robert Louis Stevenson's poem Travel, and how does the poet convey this theme through the use of poetic devices? Answer. The main idea of the poem Travel is a child's strong desire to explore the world and have exciting adventures. The poet shows this by using vivid descriptions of faraway places. For example, he uses imagery to paint pictures in our minds of golden apples, parrot islands, and eastern cities. He also uses comparisons, like saying forests are wide as England, tall as a spire, to help understand how big and impressive these places seem to the boy. These poetic devices help us feel the boy's excitement and longing for travel. Q5. Which figurative device is used by the poet in the line wide as England, tall as a spire? Explain briefly. Answer. The poet uses a simile. A simile compares two things using like or as. Here, the size of the forests is compared to the width of England, and their height is compared to a church spire. It helps us imagine just how big and tall the forests are. Q6. Analyze the poem with the help of starters given below. Answer 1. In the first stanza, the poet talks about the boy's desire to travel to exciting and faraway places. He describes some of these places, like islands with parrots and cities in the east. Answer 2. The tone of the poem is imaginative and adventurous. It feels like a child's dream, full of wonder and excitement about the world. Answer 3. The concluding lines talk about the boy's future plans. He says that when he grows up, he will travel to these places himself and have his own adventures.
Unit 10, Poem, Two Mothers Remembered by Joann Snow Duncanson. From National Book Foundation, English Grade 9 book, for Federal Board Exam, from 2025 onwards.
Giles Montessori and School. This video is about Unit 10, Poem from NBF English Book, 2025 syllabus. In this video, about poem, we have covered difficult words and meaning including difficult parts of stanzas, explanation of poem stanza-wise, post-reading questions and critical thinking answer. This will help you to prepare for board exam. Meanings by words. Claim, दावा करना, to say something belongs to you. Diverse, मुतनव्वी, showing a lot of differences. Design, the way something is planned or arranged. Nurtured, परवरिश की, took care of and helped grow. Launched, शुरू किया, started or introduced. Features, खुद व खाल, the shape and look of the face. Expressions, तासुरात, the way emotions are shown on the face. Follows, पीछा करता है, stays with or continues. Somehow, किसी ना किसी तरह, in an unclear but certain way. Quickly, तेजी से, in a short amount of time. Stranger, अजनबी, a person you do not know. At arm's length, एक बाजू के फासले पर, at a short distance. Come to a day, एक दिन आना, to reach a certain time. Should, चाहिए, used for giving advice. Meanings of parts of stanza wise. Mothers I claim, मैं इन माँओं का दावा करता हूँ, declaring as my own mothers. Diverse by design, फितरतन मुख्तलिफ, naturally different. Nurtured, परवरिश की, took care and helped grow. Launched my career, मेरे career का आगाज़ किया, started my professional life. Features I bear, मेरे चेहरे की खसूसियत, facial traits that I have. Facial expressions, चेहरे के तसुरात, emotions shown on the face. Follows me yet, अब भी मेरे साथ है, still remains with me. Examples in life, जिंदगी में मिसालें, life lessons taught by someone. Younger grew, छोटी लगने लगी, appeared younger over time. We'd laugh, हम हंसते, we used to laugh together. Clouded so, धुंधला गया, became unclear or confused. Would soon go, जल्दी चली जाएगी, would leave or disappear. Quickly she changed, वो जल्दी बदल गई, transformed in a short time. Turned into the other, किसी और में बदल गई, became a different person. Stranger dressed, अजनबी लिबास में, a different person appearing the same. Looked the same, एक जैसी दिखाई दी, appeared unchanged. At arm's length, बाजू की हद तक, a short physical distance away. Was the child, बच्चा बन गई, became dependent like a child. I was her strength, मैं उसकी ताकत बन गया, became her support. We'd come full circle, हम मुकम्मल चक्कर काट चुके ठाए, life had reversed its roles. Women 3, teen खावतिन, the speaker, her mother, and her mother's changed self. Should come to a day, अगर वो दिन आए, if that moment arrives. New mother comes, नई माँ आती है, a changed personality replaces the old. Old goes away, पुरानी चली जाती है, the previous self disappears. Ask of them nothing, उनसे कुछ नहीं मांगूंगा, won't demand anything from them. Didn't do, जो मैंने नहीं किया, something I did not practice myself. Love born, मोहब्बत पैदा हुई, love that naturally exists. Separate women, मुख्तलिफ खावतिन, two distinct individuals. Carried me here, मुझे यहाँ लाई, gave birth and brought up. Set examples, मिसालें कैम कीन, showed lessons through actions. Grew younger, छोटी लगने लगी, seemed younger over time. Turned into another, किसी और में बदल गई, changed into someone unfamiliar. A stranger now, अब अजनबी, no longer the same person. Completely changed, मुकम्मल तौर पर बदल गई, fully transformed. Roles reversed, किरदार बदल गए, shifted responsibilities. Childlike dependence, बच्चे जैसी इन्हिसरियत, acting as a child needing help. Unbreakable bond, ना टूटने वाला रिश्ता, a strong, lasting connection. Let's explain the poem Two Mothers remembered stanza by stanza in simple English. Stanza 1, lines 1 to 8, Two mothers, same name. This stanza introduces the idea of the poet having two mothers, even though they are the same person. It emphasizes that these two mothers are different in many ways but are both deeply loved. The first mother is described as the one who gave birth to the poet and helped her grow. Stanza 2, lines 9 to 16, Love and Growing Up. This stanza talks about the love the poet received from her first mother and the important lessons she learned. As the poet got older, it seemed like her mother became younger in some ways, and they shared a close, joyful relationship like mothers and daughters often do. Stanza 3, lines 17 to 24, The Change. This stanza describes a significant change. The mother's mind starts to have problems, and the poet realizes that the mother she knew is fading away. The mother changes into someone different, almost like a stranger, but still looks the same physically. Stanza 4, lines 25 to 32, Roles Reversed. Here, the poet explains that her mother has become like a child, and the poet now has to be the strong one. The roles have reversed. The poet, her mother as she was, and her mother as she is now are described as completing a circle. Stanza 5, lines 33 to 38, Advice to her children. In the final stanza, the poet speaks to her own children. She tells them that if she goes through the same changes her mother did, she wants them to treat her with the same love and care that she gave to both of her mothers. She emphasizes the enduring power of a mother's love. Post-reading question. Question asks who has a bigger effect on a student, parents or friends. It's a tricky question because both are important. Think of it like this: parents, like strong roots of a tree. They give you a base, teach you right from wrong, give you love and support, and help you grow strong inside. They're there from the very beginning. Friends, like the branches and leaves of the tree. They come along as you grow. They're fun, you learn new things from them, and they help you feel like you belong. So, who is more important? It's hard to say. You need both roots and branches to have a healthy tree. Parents usually have a bigger influence when you're little. They teach you the most important things. As you get older, friends become more important too. You spend more time with them, and they help you figure out who you are. It's not really about more influence. It's about different kinds of influence. Parents give you a strong base, and friends help you branch out and grow. Both are needed. Questions and answers. Q1. How are the two mothers different from each other? Answer. The poem highlights that the two mothers are different in their roles and the poet's relationship with them over time. The first mother is the one who gave birth to the poet, nurtured her, and helped launch her career. The second mother emerges when the first mother's mind begins to fail. She becomes like a child to the poet, requiring care and strength from the poet. So, they are different in their capacities, capable adult versus childlike dependent, and in the direction of care. Q2. What are the similarities between both? Answer. Despite their differences, both mothers are loved by the poet. The poem emphasizes that they share the same name, highlighting their fundamental connection. The poet recognizes both as mine, stressing the deep bond and love she feels for each of them, regardless of their changing roles. Q3. What did the first mother do to the poet? Answer. The first mother gave birth to the poet, nurtured her, and supported her in launching her career. She provided love, guidance, and set examples for the poet to follow. She was a source of strength and growth. Q4. Who was the poet's second mother? Describe her briefly. Answer. The poet's second mother is the same woman as her first mother, but in a changed state. When her mind becomes clouded, she loses her former capabilities and becomes like a child. She needs care from the poet, who now becomes the stronger one in the relationship. She is described as a stranger dressed in the clothes of my mother, emphasizing the change while acknowledging the underlying continuity. Q5. What is the poet's advice to her own children? Answer. The poet advises her own children to show the same love and care for her, when she becomes like her mother as she showed for both of her mothers. She asks them to remember the love born of their mothers, implying that this love transcends the changes that may occur. Q6. Who are the three women referred to in the poem? Briefly describe them. Answer. The three women are the poet's mother at two different stages of her life, and the poet herself. The first woman is the poet's mother in her capable adulthood, who gives birth, nurtures, and guides the poet. The second woman is the same mother later in life, when her mind is failing, and she becomes like a child. The third woman is the poet, who is first a daughter and then becomes a caregiver to her mother, completing the circle of life.
Unit 4, Poem, In Spite of War. From Cantab Publishers Book for English Grade 9, for Federal Board Exam, from 2025 onwards.
Unit 4, Poem, In Spite of War, from Grade 9 English Book, Cantab Publishers. The video includes difficult words, meanings, explanation of poem, questions and answers. This will help students to prepare for board exam. Difficult words and meanings. Sufferings, taklifen, pain or hardship. Lilacs, bakain, a type of flowering plant. Tulips, gulilala, a colorful spring flower. Tripping, chehalkadmi karna, moving lightly and quickly. Wrath, ghusa, intense anger. Morning glory, ek phool, a type of flowering vine. Seth, kehta hai, an old form of says. Daisy, guli bahar, a small white flower with a yellow center. Murmurat, sargoshi karta hai, an old form of murmurs or whispers. Divine, mukaddas, heavenly or perfect. Pansies, banafsha, a type of colorful flower. Romping, kudna, playing energetically. Flashing, chamkana, shining brightly. Not, kuch nahi, nothing. Fair, khubsurat, beautiful or just. Glory, azmat, great beauty or honor. Despair, mayusi, hopelessness. Cannon, toop, a large gun. Boom, garjna, to make a loud, deep sound. Spirit, ruh, the non-physical part of a person. Flame, shola, a burning fire. Torch, mashal, a source of light or inspiration. Poppies, khaskhas, a red flower symbolizing remembrance. Altar, kurbangah, a sacred table or place. Whitely, safedi se, in a white or pure manner. Urns, guldan, decorative vases. Shame, sharm, a feeling of guilt or disgrace. Whispering, sargoshi, speaking very softly. Nightmare, khwabi bad, a bad dream or terrible situation. Ecstasy, wajid, intense happiness or joy. Meaning by parts of stanza. In spite of war, jang ke bawajood, despite the presence of war. In spite of death, maut ke bawajood, even though death exists. In spite of all man's sufferings, tamam insani takalif ke bajood, despite human hardships. Something within me laughs and sings, मेरे अंदर कुछ हंसता और गाता है, a deep feeling of joy remains. I must praise with all my breath, मुझे अपनी पूरी सांस के साथ तारीफ करनी चाहिए. I should express gratitude wholeheartedly. Lilacs are blooming at my gate, मेरे दरवाजे पर लाइलैक के फूल खिल रहे हैं, beauty continues to flourish. Tulips are tripping down the path, tulip रास्ते पर गिर रहे हैं, flowers are falling along the way. In spite of wrath, गजब के बावजूद, even with anger and rage present. Courage, the morning glory saith dash. हिम्मत, सुबह का गुलाब कहता है, nature encourages bravery. Rejoice, the daisy murmureth dash. खुश हो जाओ, गुलबहरी सरगोशी करती है, the daisy whispers happiness. And just to live is so divine, और जीना ही मुकद्दस है, simply being alive is sacred. When pansies lift their eyes to mine, जब बैंफशय अपनी आंखें मेरी तरफ उठाते हैं, flowers symbolize connection and admiration. The clouds are romping with the sea, बादल समुंदर के साथ खेल रहे हैं, the sky and ocean are in harmony. Flashing waves call back to me, चमकती लहरें मुझे वापस बुलाती हैं, the sea seems to speak. That naught is real but what is fair, कुछ भी हकीकी नहीं सवाई इंसाफ के, only justice and fairness are real. A glory living through despair, शान मायूसी में भी जिंदा रहती है, beauty exists even in suffering. Though guns may roar and cannon boom, अगरचे बंदूकें गरजती हैं और तोपें गूंजती हैं, despite war's destruction. Roses are born and gardens bloom, गुलाब पैदा होते हैं और बहार खिलते हैं, life and beauty persist. My spirit still may light its flame, मेरी रूह भी अपनी रोशनी जला सकती है, hope remains within. At that same torch whence poppies came, उसी मशाल पर जहाँ पोस्ट के फूल आए, poppies symbolize resilience. Where morning's altar whitely burns, जहाँ सुबह की कुर्बानगाह सफेद रोशनी से जलती है, a sacred beginning. Lilies may lift their silver urns, कंवल अपने चांदी जैसे बर्तन उठा सकते हैं, flowers stand as a symbol of peace. In spite of war, in spite of shame, जंग के बावजूद, शर्मिंदगी के बावजूद, even when dishonor exists. And in my ear a whispering breath, और मेरी कान में सरगोशी करती हुई सांस, a soft voice speaks. Look and see that life is not but ecstasy, देखो और समझो कि जिंदगी सिर्फ सुरूर है, life is full of joy. Explanation of the poem In Spite of War by Angela Morgan. Stanza 1, from line 1 to line 4. The poet says that even though war and death exist in the world, there is still something inside her that finds joy and sings. She feels a strong need to praise life and express gratitude, despite all the suffering. Stanza 2, from line 5 to line 9. The poet repeats that war and hatred are present, but nature continues to flourish. Flowers like lilacs and tulips are still blooming, showing that beauty and life continue no matter how terrible the world may seem. Stanza 3, from line 10 to line 15. Even in a world filled with war and anger, the poet hears the morning glory flower encouraging courage and the daisy whispering about happiness. Just being alive feels like a divine, special gift, and she finds joy in simple things like looking at flowers. Stanza 4, from line 16 to line 20. The poet describes the clouds playing with the sea, and the waves calling back to her. She realizes that only fairness and justice are truly real, and despite the hardships of life, there is still a hidden beauty that continues to shine. Stanza 5, from line 21 to line 26. The poet acknowledges the reality of war, where guns and cannons create destruction. However, she also notices that roses continue to grow, and gardens keep blooming. This symbolizes that life goes on even in times of difficulty. Stanza 6, from line 27 to line 32. She expresses that her inner spirit still burns like a flame, just like the poppy flowers that bloom in battlefields. The morning light continues to shine, and lilies rise beautifully, representing purity and peace. Stanza 7, from line 33 to line 34. The poet again emphasizes that, despite war and shame, life still exists and moves forward. This shows her strong belief in hope and resilience. Stanza 8, from line 35 to line 40. She hears a soft whisper in her ear, urging her to wake up from the terrible nightmare of war. The voice tells her to see that life is not just filled with hardships but also with moments of happiness and joy. Stanza 9, from line 41 to line 42. The poem ends with a powerful repetition of the idea that life continues despite war and death. The poet reminds us to focus on the beauty of life instead of the destruction around us. This poem teaches us that even in dark times, nature, beauty, and hope never fade away. Question and answers from the text. 1. How does the poet use contrasting elements such as war and life's beauty to evoke emotional responses in the reader? The poet contrasts war's destruction with the beauty of nature, like blooming flowers, to show that life continues even in dark times. This creates hope and resilience in the reader. 2. Analyze the symbolic significance of flowers like lilacs, tulips, and pansies in the poem. What do they represent in the context of war and suffering? Flowers symbolize hope, renewal, and the persistence of life. Even during war and suffering, they continue to bloom, showing that beauty and joy can exist despite hardship. 3. What are the things that thrive despite the ravages of war? Nature, like flowers and waves, and the human spirit thrive despite war. The poet shows that life goes on, and there is still beauty and courage in the world. 4. What message does the poem convey about the resilience of the human spirit? The poem conveys that despite war, death, and suffering, the human spirit remains strong, finding joy and hope in the small beauties of life. 5. How does the poem make you feel, and what emotions or thoughts does it evoke? The poem creates mixed emotions, sadness for war's destruction but also hope and inspiration because life and beauty continue despite hardships. 6. What are some of the different words and images used in the poem that convey the emotion of loss? Words like war, death, wrath, and despair express loss, while images of roaring guns and cannons highlight destruction. However, the poem also balances this with images of flowers and morning light to show hope.
Unit 8, Poem, The Lake Isle of Innisfree. From Cantab Publishers Book for English Grade 9, for Federal Board Exam, from 2025 onwards.
Unit 8, Poem, Lake of Innisfree, from Grade 9 English Book, Cantab Publishers. The video includes difficult words meanings, explanation of poem, questions and answers. This will help students to prepare for board exam. Difficult words and meanings. Arise, uthna, to get up or stand. Innisfree, ek jazira, a fictional or symbolic island. Cabin, jhonpari, a small, simple house. Clay, mati, a type of soil used for building. Wattles, bass, woven sticks used for building. Bean rows, phaliyon ki katare, rows of bean plants. Hive, chhatta, a home for bees. Glade, jungli maidan, a peaceful, open space in a forest. Dropping slow, ahista ahista girna, falling gradually. Veils, parde, soft, thin covers. Cricket, jhingar, a small insect that chirps. Glimmer, chamak, a faint, soft light. Purple glow, jamni roshni, a deep, rich light. Linnet, ek chota parinda, a small songbird. Lapping, chhap chhap karna, the sound of water hitting the shore. Shore, kinara, the edge of a lake or sea. Roadway, sarak, a road or path. Pavements, footpath, sidewalks or walkways. Core, gahrai, the innermost part. Peace, aman, a state of calm and quiet. Meanings by parts of stanzas. Rise and go, to or jaun, to get up and leave. Clay and wattles made, मट्टी और बांस से बनाया हुआ, built using mud and woven sticks. Bee loud glade, शहद की मक्खियों से गूंजती हुई जगह, a peaceful place buzzing with bees. Peace comes dropping slow, अमन आहिस्ता आहिस्ता आता है, peace arrives gradually. Veils of the morning, सुबह के पर्दे, the soft, misty cover of dawn. Cricket sings, झिंगर की आवाज, the sound of crickets chirping. Midnight saw a glimmer, आधी रात चमकती है, midnight shines faintly. Purple glow, जामनी रोशनी, a deep, rich light. Linnet's wings, linnet परिंदे के पर, the wings of a small songbird. Lake water lapping, झील का पानी छाप छाप करता है, the gentle sound of water hitting the shore. Low sounds by the shore, किनारे पर धीमी आवाजें, soft noises near the lake's edge. Roadway or pavements grey, सड़क या सुरमय के footpath, the road or grey sidewalks. Deep heart's core, दिल की गहराई, the innermost part of the heart. 9 bean rows, नौ फलियों की कतरें, 9 rows of bean plants. Hive for the honey bee, शहद की मक्खियों का छत्ता, a home for bees to make honey. Explanation of poem stanza wise. Stanza 1, lines 1 to 4. The poet wants to leave his current place and go to Innisfree, a peaceful island. He dreams of building a small house using natural materials like clay and sticks. He plans to grow beans and keep bees for honey. He wishes to live alone in a quiet and natural place. Stanza 2, lines 5 to 8. The poet believes that he will find true peace in Innisfree. He describes how peace comes slowly, like the soft light of morning, the sounds of crickets, the glow of the stars at midnight, the purple shine of noon, and the fluttering wings of birds in the evening all create a calm and magical atmosphere. Stanza 3, lines 9 to 12. The poet repeats his desire to go to Innisfree. Even when he is in a busy city, he always hears the gentle sound of the lake water in his heart. This shows how deeply connected he is to nature and how much he longs for a peaceful life away from the noise of the city. Comprehension questions. What kind of place is Innisfree in the poem? Innisfree is a peaceful, natural place with a small cabin, bean fields, and bees. How well does the poet show the feelings of wanting and escaping in the lake isle of Innisfree? The poet shows strong feelings of wanting to escape to Innisfree by describing its beauty and peace. Briefly explain what does the poet mean when they talk about the veils of the morning in relation to peace on Innisfree? How does this imagery help us feel a certain way when reading the poem? The veils of the morning means the soft, misty dawn. It makes us feel calm and peaceful. From the poem, what is the significance of Lake Isle of Innisfree to the poet? Innisfree is a special place for the poet, representing peace and a connection to nature. In your opinion, how does the poet draw a contrast between Innisfree and the city of his residence? The poet contrasts the peaceful, natural Innisfree with the noisy, grey city. In what ways can individuals today relate to the idea of finding contentment in a modest dwelling surrounded by nature? People today can relate by wanting a simple, quiet life close to nature. Identify the rhyming scheme of the poem. The rhyming scheme is above. Students are advised to refer to our previous video on rhyming schemes and understand the coding. In your opinion, what is the central theme of the poem? The central theme is finding peace and happiness in nature. How would you explain phrase hive for the honey bee suggest? It suggests a natural, simple life with bees and nature. Short summary of the poem. The poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats expresses the poet's deep desire to escape from the busy city life and live in peace with nature. He dreams of going to Innisfree, a quiet and beautiful place, where he will build a small house using clay and sticks. He plans to grow beans and keep bees for honey, living alone in a peaceful environment. He believes that peace in Innisfree will come slowly, like the soft light of morning. He describes the beauty of nature, the singing of crickets, the shining stars at midnight, the purple glow of noon, and the birds flying in the evening. These images create a calm and magical atmosphere. Even though the poet is still in the city, he always hears the gentle sound of the lake water in his heart. This shows that his connection to nature is strong, and he longs to return to a simple and peaceful life away from the noise of the world.
Unit 11, Poem, No Men Are Foreign. From Cantab Publishers Book for English Grade 9, for Federal Board Exam, from 2025 onwards.
Unit 11, Poem, No Men Are Foreign, from Grade 9 English Book, Cantab Publishers. The video includes difficult words meanings, explanation of poem, questions and answers. This will help students to prepare for board exam. Difficult words from poem. Strange, ajnabi, unfamiliar or foreign. Foreign, gair mulki, belonging to another country. Uniforms, vardiyan, special clothing worn by groups like soldiers. Beneath, नीचे, under or below. Breaths, सांस लेता है, takes an air to live. Earth, ज़मीन, the ground or soil. Aware, आगाह, knowing or conscious of something. Harvests, फासले, crops gathered from fields. Starved, भूखा, suffering from hunger. Labor, मेहनत, hard work or effort. Strength, ताकत, power or energy. Recognize, पहचानना, to identify or know something. Understand, समझना, to grasp the meaning of something. Dispossess, mahroom करना, to take away someone's possessions. Betray, धोखा देना, to be unfaithful or deceive. Condemn, मुजम्मत करना, to criticize or blame strongly. Defile, गंदा करना, to spoil or make dirty. Hells, Jahannam, places of great suffering or misery. Outrage, घुसा दिलाना, to shock or anger greatly. Innocence, मासूमियत, purity or lack of guilt. Common, आम, shared ordinary. Arms, हथियार, weapons. Lines, लकीरें, wrinkles or marks on the skin. Peaceful, पुरअमन, calm and without conflict. Uniforms, vardiyan, special clothing worn by groups like soldiers. Difficult meanings by parts of stanza. No men are strange, कोई इंसान अजनबी नहीं, all people are familiar. No country is foreign, कोई मुल्क गैर मुल्की नहीं, no country is unfamiliar. Beneath all uniforms, तमाम वर्दियों के नीचे, under all types of clothing. A single body breathes, एक ही जिस्म सांस लेता है, one body breathes the same. The land our brothers walk upon, वो ज़मीन जिस पर हमारे भाई चलते हैं, the ground our brothers walk on. Earth like this, in which we all shall lie, ऐसी ज़मीन जिसमें हम सब लाएंगे, the same earth where we will all rest. Aware of sun and air and water, धूप, हवा और पानी से आगाह, knowing the importance of sun, air, and water. Fed by peaceful harvests, पुरअमन फासलों से खाना, nourished by crops grown in peace. Was long winter starved, जंग की लंबी सर्दी से भूखे, starved by the long winters of war. Their hands are ours, उनके हाथ हमारे हैं, their hands are like ours. In their lines we read, उनकी लकीरों में हम पढ़ते हैं, in their wrinkles, we see. A labor not different from our own, एक मेहनत जो हमारी से मुख्तलिफ नहीं, work similar to ours. Eyes like ours that wake or sleep, आंखें जो हमारी तरह जागती या सोती हैं, eyes that wake or sleep like ours. Strength that can be won by love, ताकत जो मोहब्बत से जीती जा सकती है, strength that love can achieve. In every land is common life, हर जमीन में आम जिंदगी है, common life exists everywhere. All can recognize and understand, सब पहचान और समझ सकते हैं, everyone can recognize and understand. To hate our brothers, अपने भाइयों से नफरत करना, to hate our fellow humans. It is ourselves that we shall dispossess, हम खुद को महरूम करते हैं, we deprive ourselves. It is the human earth that we defile, ये इंसानियत की जमीन है जिसे हम गंदा करते हैं, we spoil the earth that belongs to all humans. Our hells of fire and dust, हमारे आग और मिट्टी के जहानम, our places of suffering filled with fire and dust. Explanation of the poem, stanza wise. Stanza 1, lines 1 to 4. The poet tells us that all human beings are the same, no matter which country they belong to. Beneath different uniforms, we all have the same body and breathe the same air. He reminds us that we all live and die on the same earth. Stanza 2, lines 5 to 8. This stanza explains that people in every country need the same basic things like sunlight, air, and water to survive. They eat food grown from the land, just like us. Their work and struggles are no different from ours. Stanza 3, lines 9 to 12. The poet emphasizes that all people have the same emotions. They have eyes that wake and sleep just like us. They have strength, which comes from love and care. Life is similar everywhere, and all humans can understand and relate to each other. Stanza 4, lines 13 to 16. The poet warns us against hatred. When we are told to hate others, we actually harm ourselves. Hatred leads to loss, betrayal, and destruction. He reminds us that fighting against others is like fighting against ourselves. Stanza 5, lines 17 to 20. In the final stanza, the poet states that war destroys humanity. By engaging in war, we ruin our own world. The fire, destruction, and suffering we create affect everyone. In the end, he repeats that no men are foreign, and no countries are strange, reinforcing the idea of universal brotherhood. Answers to comprehension questions. What uniforms do you think the poet is speaking about? The poet is referring to the military uniforms of different countries. He means that despite wearing different uniforms in war, all soldiers are the same human beings underneath. In the poem, how does the poet suggest that all people on earth are the same? The poet suggests that all people breathe the same air, live on the same land, need the same basic things like food and water, and experience similar emotions. In stanza 1, find 5 ways in which we all are alike. Pick out the words. The 5 ways in which we are alike are same body, a single body breathes same land, the land our brothers walk upon same earth, is earth like this, in which we all shall lie same air and water, aware of sun and air and water same labor, a labor not different from our own. What is the significance of the phrase the innocence of air that is everywhere our own in the context of the poem? The phrase means that air is pure and belongs to everyone equally. When war happens, it pollutes the air and destroys nature, which affects all human beings, showing that we harm ourselves through war. In your understanding, What is the poet's viewpoint regarding the relationships between people from different countries as portrayed in the poem? The poet believes that all people are brothers and should not hate each other. He wants to show that wars create divisions, but in reality, we are all the same and should live in peace. What is the central idea of the poem? The central idea of the poem is the unity of mankind. The poet emphasizes that no human is different or foreign, and war only brings destruction. He encourages peace and harmony among all people.
It's important to learn following concepts with poems to attend poems questions easily. 1. Poetic devices, figurative speech. 2. Rhyming schemes. Let's move on to learn them.
Giles Montessori and School. Dear students, you may be required to write multiple stanzas of poems. Therefore, it's important for you to learn poetic devices. These guidelines will help you to paraphrase a poem. Prepare them for your Federal Board exam. Poetic devices, easy definitions and simple examples. Poetic devices are special ways that poets use words to make their poems more beautiful, interesting, and meaningful. These techniques help us see, hear, feel, and imagine things while reading a poem. Here are some important poetic devices explained in very simple words with easy examples to help you understand them better. First poetic device, imagery. Easy definition of imagery. Imagery means using descriptive words that help us see, hear, smell, taste, or feel something in our minds. It makes the poem come alive. Examples of imagery: the warm sun kissed my skin. Touch, you can feel the warmth. 2. The fresh smell of baked cookies filled the house. Smell, you can imagine the smell of cookies. 3. The birds sang sweet songs in the morning. Hearing, you can hear the sound in your mind. 4. The sky turned orange and pink as the sun set. Sight, you can see the colors in your mind. Why imagery is used in poems? Imagery makes the poem more real and exciting so that the reader can feel like they are inside the scene. Second poetic device, metaphor. Easy definition of metaphor. A metaphor compares two different things by saying one thing is another to show a similarity. It does not use like or as. Examples of metaphor. 1. Her smile is sunshine. Her smile is being compared to sunshine because it is bright and warm. 2. Books are windows to the world. Books give us knowledge, just like windows let us see outside. 3. Time is a thief. Time takes away our moments, just like a thief takes things from us. Why metaphor is used? Metaphors make ideas stronger and more creative by making unexpected comparisons. Third poetic device, personification. Easy definition of personification. Personification is when we give human qualities to things that are not human, like animals, objects, or nature. Examples of personification. 1. The flowers danced in the wind. Flowers cannot dance, but their movement is compared to dancing. 2. The angry storm screamed through the night. Storms do not scream, but the loud wind is compared to a scream. 3. The clock was staring at me, reminding me of my test. A clock cannot stare, but it feels like it is watching you. Why personification is used in poems? Personification makes things more interesting and emotional by making them seem alive. Fourth poetic device, simile. Easy definition of simile. A simile is a comparison between two different things using the words like or as. Examples of simile. 1. Her hair was as soft as cotton. Her hair is being compared to cotton because both are soft. 2. He ran like a cheetah. He is being compared to a cheetah because both are fast. 3. The baby's cheeks were red like apples. The cheeks are compared to apples because both are red. Why simile is used? Similes help us understand things better by comparing them to something familiar. Fifth poetic device, Alliteration. Easy definition. Alliteration is when the same sound is repeated at the beginning of words in a line. It makes the poem sound musical and fun. Examples of alliteration. 1. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Observe repetition of sound in each word. 2. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Repetition of P sound in each word. 3. Big brown bears bake blueberry bread. Repetition of P sound in each word. Why is it used? Alliteration makes poems catchy, fun, and easier to remember. Sixth poetic device, onomatopoeia. Easy definition. Onomatopoeia is when a word sounds like the noise it describes. Examples. 1. The bees buzzed around the garden. Buzz sounds like the noise bees make. 2. The car went vroom as it sped down the road. Vroom sounds like a car engine. 3. The door creaked open slowly. Creak sounds like an old door opening. Why is it used? Onomatopoeia makes the poem more lively and helps us hear the sounds in our minds. Seventh poetic device is rhyme. Easy definition. Rhyme happens when two or more words have the same ending sound. Let's take examples. 1. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Star and R have the same ending sound. 2. The cat sat on a mat. Cat, sat, and mat all rhyme. 3. I feel bright in the moonlight. Bright and moonlight rhyme. Why is it used? Rhyme makes the poem more musical and enjoyable to read. Conclusion. Poetic devices help poets make their writing more beautiful, powerful, and fun to read. These techniques help create strong pictures, feelings, and sounds in a poem. Tip for students: if you learn these poetic devices with examples, you will find it easier to identify them in poems and use them in your own writing. Giles Montessori and School. Dear students, it is very important to learn rhyme scheme in order to handle poems-related questions effectively in your board exams. Let's proceed. What is rhyme? Rhyme is when two or more words have the same ending sound. It is often used in poetry and songs to make them sound musical and enjoyable. For example, cat and hat rhyme because they both have same ending sound at. Sky and high rhyme because they both end in same sound y. Bright and light rhyme because they both end in night.
Assalamu alaikum dear students, let's learn how to crack a rhyme scheme, okay? It was important कि आपको थोड़ा सा ब्रीफ किया जाए. It's very important कि आप rhyme scheme अपने बोर्ड के एग्जाम के लिए प्रिपेयर करें, ठीक है? अच्छा देखो, rhyme scheme में ना कोई भी स्कीम उसके आगे ये कि ना कोड होता है A B. What does this code mean? जनरली ये समझ लें, फर्स्ट लाइन को A कोड असाइन किया है, ठीक है, सेकंड को B कोड किया है और थर्ड को A कोड किया है. क्यों किया है? फर्स्ट लाइन जो है थर्ड के साथ राइम कर रही है और सेकंड लाइन 4 के साथ लाइन कर रही है, ठीक है. इसी तरह अगर आपको A B C B अगर ऐसा कोई आए तो दिस मीन्स कि सेकंड लाइन इज राइमिंग विद द फोर्थ लाइन, ठीक है. सो दैट्स हाउ यू विल क्रैक. लेट्स ट्राई टू टेक एन एग्जाम्पल. ये कहता है द सन इज शाइनिंग ब्राइट. इसने A लेटर इसको असाइन कर दिया, ठीक है. द बर्ड्स आर फ्लाइंग हाई. B इसलिए असाइन किया कि यहाँ पे कोई ऐसा वर्ड नहीं जो A के साथ राइम कर रहा हो, ठीक है. इट इज़ अ लवली साइट. अब यहाँ देखिए ये साइट जो है दैट्स राइमिंग विद द ब्राइट, इसलिए इसने इसको भी A असाइन कर दिया, ठीक है. सो बेस्ड ऑन दिस, जहाँ पे भी एक जैसे राइमिंग वर्ड्स हो गए, यू विल असाइन द सेम वर्ड्स ओवर हियर. एंड इसी वीडियो में जो हम आगे आपको सिखाएंगे ट्यूटोरियल में, तो आप इसी की बेस पे क्रैक करेंगे, ठीक है. सिमिलरली देखो B है, द B इज असाइन टू दिस लाइन एंड B इज असाइन टू दिस लाइन. वाई? हाई एंड स्काई दे राइम. इनकी एक ही जैसी साउंड निकली, हाई एंड स्काई, ठीक है. बोथ एंड विद आई, द साइन लाइक दिस, ठीक है. सो दैट्स हाउ. जब भी आपको इस ट्यूटोरियल में विल गिव यू कोड्स लाइक दिस वन, तो आपने इसको इसकी बेस पे क्रैक करने हैं. एंड यू हैव, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप इसको लर्न करें राइम स्कीम्स को. सो लेट्स लर्न दी रेस्ट ऑफ द राइमिंग स्कीम.
Rhyme scheme. What is a rhyme scheme? A rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhyming words at the end of lines in a poem. It is usually represented using letters, for example, A, B, C, to show which lines rhyme with each other. How to identify a rhyme scheme? Look at the last word of each line of the poem. Assign the same letter to words that rhyme. Different sounds get different letters. Let's learn some common rhyming schemes with examples. Common rhyme schemes. Here are some of the common rhyme scheme which will help you in your board exam. 1. Alternate rhyme. ABAB. The first and third lines rhyme, and the second and fourth lines rhyme. Example: the sun is shining bright. Let's assign letter A to this line. The birds are flying high. Assign letter B to this line. It is a lovely sight. Rhymes with letter A line. With clouds up in the sky. Rhymes with letter B line. Observe. The words bright and sight rhyme from lines A, and high and sky rhyme from lines B. 2. Couplet rhyme. AABB. Two consecutive lines rhyme. Example: I saw a cat. Assign letter A to this line. It wore a hat. Rhymes with line A. It danced with glee. Assign letter B to this line. Beside a tree. Rhymes with line B. Observe. The words cat and hat rhyme from first two lines called A, and glee and tree rhyme from last two lines called BB. 3. Enclosed rhyme. ABBA. The first and last lines rhyme, and the middle two lines rhyme. Example: the stars shine bright. A. As night draws near. B. The air is clear. B. A peaceful sight. A. Observe. The words bright and sight rhyme from lines A, and near and clear rhyme from lines B. 4. Monorhyme. AAAA. Every line ends with the same rhyme. Example: I love the sky. A. It is so high. A. With clouds that fly. A. And birds nearby. A. Observe. The words sky, high, fly, and nearby all rhyme in same lines, therefore we call it AAAA rhyme. 5. Ballad rhyme. ABCB or ABAB. A 4-line stanza, quatrain, where the second and fourth lines rhyme, or sometimes the first and third lines also rhyme. Example: ABCB. A lonely sailor lost at sea. A. His ship was torn apart. B. He cried for help but none could hear. C. The ocean broke his heart. B. Observe. The words apart and heart rhyme from line B, while the other lines do not rhyme. Example of above: the waves crashed loud upon the shore. A. The night was dark and cold. B. A light appeared, a hope once more. A. A tale of sailors bold. B. Observe. The words shore and more rhyme from line A, and cold and bold rhyme from line B.